A man walked into a small private vault in Zurich, signed nothing that would ever appear in a public record, out 20 minutes later without a receipt he could show anyone. No press release, no tweet, no flex, just a quiet transaction that, if you'd seen it happen, would look almost boring. And that boredom is the whole point, because the richest people you'll never hear about are doing this exact thing right now, while everyone else is arguing online about which stock is about to moon. Here's the question that should genuinely bother you, whether you have $100 saved or 100,000. If gold is such an old, unglamorous, boring asset, why do the people with the most to protect on this entire planet keep buying it in silence? And here's the second question, the one nobody wants to answer honestly. What do they know about money that you were never taught? I'll get into the real answer, the one that has nothing to do with inflation charts. But first you need to understand the pattern, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. By the end of this video, you're going to understand the 10 real reasons wealthy families and quiet operators keep gold close and keep their mouths shut about it. Not the textbook reasons you'd find in a finance blog, the ones that only start to make sense once you've had something worth protecting. Reason 1 is control. Most people think wealth is about growth. Rich people, the ones who manage to stay rich across generations instead of losing it all in one bad decade, think about it differently. They think about what can't be frozen, seized, or deleted with one keystroke. A bank account is a favor someone else is doing you. A brokerage account exists because a company allows it to exist and can, under the right circumstances, restrict what you do with it. Gold sitting in your own hand, in your own safe, answers to nobody. There's a reason the old saying goes that gold is the only asset that isn't simultaneously someone else's liability. Every dollar in your checking account is a promise from a bank to give you something later. Gold isn't a promise. It's just there, heavy and finished, owing nothing to anyone. Reason 2 is the quiet part. Almost nobody says out loud. Visible wealth invites attention, and attention is expensive in ways that never show up on a balance sheet. The moment people around you know what you have, the requests start. The looks change, the family gatherings get tense in a way they never used to be. A friend of mine, a soft-spoken guy named Devraj, who quietly built a mid-sized logistics company over 15 years, told me something I never forgot over coffee one afternoon. He said the day people found out what his business was actually worth, he lost the version of himself that could walk into a room and just be a person. Cousins he hadn't spoken to in a decade suddenly had investment ideas for him. Old classmates needed just a small loan. Gold doesn't show up on your driveway. It doesn't get photographed at a wedding. It lets you stay a person for a little longer, which turns out to be worth more than most people realize until they've lost it. Reason 3, and this is where it gets uncomfortable, is that gold is the asset you buy when you've stopped believing every institution will always do what it says it will do. That's not paranoia. That's history, and history keeps receipts. Adam Ferguson wrote about this in his book on the collapse of the German mark in the 1920s, describing how people watched their life savings become worthless, fast enough that some of them burned the currency for heat because it was cheaper than actual firewood. Think about that for a second. Money, the thing an entire nation had organized its life around, became less valuable than the paper it wasn't printed on. The people who survived that decade with their wealth intact weren't the ones who trusted the system the most. They were the ones who had already converted a portion of their savings into something the system couldn't print more of overnight. Now here's an open loop I promised you at the start. The real reason wealthy families do this quietly isn't fear. It's discipline. Hold that thought because it changes how you should read everything I'm about to tell you next. Picture 2 men standing in front of the same falling market. One of them is checking his phone every 6 minutes, watching a number turn red, feeling his stomach drop with every refresh. The other one already knows that a piece of what he owns doesn't move when the number turns red because it was never plugged into that number in the first place. Same market, same headlines, completely different nervous system. That's not luck. That's a decision made years earlier, quietly before the crash was even a headline. Reason 4 is timing psychology, And it's the difference between an investor and a spectator. Loud money buys at the top because loud money buys when it feels good, when everyone's talking about it, when the price is already run and the excitement is contagious. Quiet money buys when nobody's watching in small amounts, over years, without needing applause or a headline to justify the decision. One of these approaches is building a position patiently, brick by brick, unbothered by what the crowd is doing this week. The other is chasing a feeling, and feelings are the most expensive thing you can trade on. Reason 5 is liquidity that doesn't ask permission. If you've ever needed cash fast, a medical emergency, a business opportunity that closes in 48 hours, a family crisis in another country, you already know that most of your net worth is trapped behind paperwork, waiting periods, and someone else's approval process. Real estate takes months. Retirement accounts have penalties and forms. Gold converts to cash almost anywhere on earth in almost any currency. Without you explaining yourself to a loan officer at 10 o'clock at night, that's not a luxury feature for people who already have everything. For the people who've actually needed it at the worst possible moment, it's oxygen. Here's your reward for staying this far. A study from the World Gold Council tracking decades of central bank behavior found something most retail investors never hear about. Central banks themselves have been net buyers of gold for well over a decade straight, quietly stacking reserves year after year while telling their own citizens to trust the paper currency they issue. Sit with that for a second. The very institutions that print the money are hedging against their own printing press. If that doesn't make you pause and rethink what you were taught about safe assets, honestly, nothing will. Let's be honest about something for a second because this whole video falls apart if I pretend gold has no downsides. It doesn't pay you a dividend. It doesn't compound the way a good business does. If you're 25 and trying to build your first real position of wealth, gold is not the thing that turns $10,000 into a life-changing number. Nobody quietly wealthy is telling you to put everything into a vault and wait. That's not what this is about, and if a video ever tells you that, be skeptical of it. This is about the portion, usually a small one, often somewhere between 5 and 15% of what someone owns, that exists purely to make sure the other 85% has room to take real, intelligent risks without one bad year wiping out a decade of work. Reason 6 is inheritance without interference. A house gets fought over. A business gets fought over. Sometimes for years, sometimes until the relationships involved don't survive it. Gold, divided into pieces, moves through a family with almost no friction. No court dates, no lawyers billing $400 an hour to argue over who gets which floor of the building or which side of the driveway. Wealthy families that have done this for generations know that the fewer moving parts an inheritance has, the fewer ways it can be destroyed later by grief, ego, or plain old greed. Simplicity is a form of protection nobody talks about at dinner parties, but it's the reason some family wealth survives 3 generations, while other family wealth doesn't survive one funeral. Reason 7, and this one stings a little if you're honest with yourself. Buying gold quietly is a habit of humility, and most people chasing wealth have too much ego to be humble about their money. Loud spending is a performance for people who might not even like you, delivered to an audience that forgets it by next week. Quiet accumulation is a private conversation between you and your future self, with no audience at all. There's no dopamine hit from buying a small bar of gold and locking it in a drawer. There's no story to tell at a party, no photo to post, no reaction to farm. That's exactly why almost nobody does it consistently. And it's exactly why the people who do it consistently end up somewhere the rest of the room never reaches. Reason 8 is currency skepticism that isn't conspiracy. It's arithmetic anyone can check. Every dollar printed since your parents were your age has diluted the value of the dollars already in circulation. That's not a hot take. That's the plain definition of inflation, sitting right there in any economics textbook. The people who've actually watched their purchasing power erode year after year, watched their grocery bill climb while their paycheck stayed roughly the same, eventually stop asking, "How do I earn more dollars?" and start asking a better question. How do I hold something dollars can't shrink? Gold has outlived every currency that's ever tried to replace it as the final store of value. Every single one across thousands of years of people trying. Now the pivot, because everything I've told you so far might make gold sound like the whole answer, and it isn't. Not by itself, and anyone telling you otherwise is selling you something. Here's the reframe that actually changes how you should think about this. Gold isn't wealth. Gold is insurance against the loss of wealth. The wealthy people quietly buying it aren't betting their future on the price going up next quarter. They're making sure that if everything else in their financial life goes sideways at once, the market corrects, the currency weakens, an institution freezes, an emergency hits without warning, there's one asset in the room that doesn't need anyone's permission to still mean something at 3 in the morning. That's reason 9, and it's the one that quietly reframes the other 8. Gold isn't the strategy. It's the floor underneath the strategy, the thing that lets you take real risks elsewhere. A business, a bold career move, a bet on yourself. Because you already know the whole house won't collapse at once if that one bet doesn't work out. And reason 10 is the one that actually matters most for you. Watching this at whatever hour you're watching it. The wealthy don't buy gold because they're smarter than you. They buy it because somewhere along the way, someone taught them that real financial maturity isn't about the next big win. It's about making sure one bad year can't erase 20 good ones. Nobody sat most of us down and taught us that. We were taught to chase upside, to talk about the win, to celebrate the growth number. Nobody said, protect the downside first, because protecting the downside is boring, and boring doesn't get likes. But protecting the downside is exactly what lets you keep playing the game long enough to actually win it. And here's the part of this that most people scroll past. The reason this actually applies to you, and not just to families with vaults in Switzerland. You don't need 6 figures to start, and you don't need a private banker to make the first move. This isn't about buying a single dramatic amount all at once. It's about a small, boring, repeated decision. The same way muscle is built one unremarkable workout at a time, not one heroic afternoon in the gym. Buy small. Buy quietly. Buy on a schedule nobody else knows about. Skip a version of a purchase you don't actually need this month and redirect it instead. None of it feels significant in the moment. That's exactly why it works. Because nothing that quietly compounds ever feels significant while it's happening. It only looks significant 5 or 10 years later, when you turn around and realize you built a floor under yourself while everyone else was still standing on sand. If you've made it this far, hit like. Share this video with your loved ones who need this. And if this is the first video of mine you've watched, subscribe, because we're going deeper into how quiet money actually thinks, week after week, and you don't want to miss the ones coming next.